Hi, my name is Cheryl and I'm a crafty little chickie. Today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial for a large star. I also have one for a small star. It's on my channel. You can feel free to go check that one out. But this one is for the large star. So I am going to be using a crochet hook, 5mm or H. And I'll also be using scissors and a stitch marker. I use a bobby pin for that. Okay, the yarn I'm going to be using for this tutorial is Bernat Handy Crafter cotton yarn. This is not the yarn that I'm actually using for the project that I'm actually made these stars for. I'm using this yarn for this tutorial simply because it shows the stitches a lot clearer. What I'm using for the actual pattern is Bernat Little Tots yarn, and it's in white, and it looks like this. So it's got a little bit of a sparkle wrapped around it, or no, not a sparkle, but a kind of a little bit of a shiny yarn, and it's got a little bit of a knottier kind of texture to it. It's more bumpy, right? So this wouldn't show the stitches very well. But what I am using these for is for my pattern that has several tutorials, and it's called Counting Sheep Shell Stitch Baby Blanket. I've got the stars, I have the sheep, I have the fence that the sheep are jumping over, I have numbers 0 through to 9, and I also have the blanket itself. So if you want to try that project, they'll all be on my channel. Okay, so we can get started on the project. Okay, so to start this, we are going to start using a magic circle. If you don't know how to do it, or if you forgot, I'll show you it right now. Okay, so you want to leave yourself a long tail, wrap around the top of your hand, separate your fingers except for the middle two, wrap the yarn around it twice, and then put it on top of your pinky. Grab your starting yarn, pin them between your thumb and your pinky, and it should look like this. Okay, so then you put the hook underneath the two pieces of yarn in the middle of your finger, yarn over from the yarn in the back, pull through, yarn over and pull through again, and then you can take the yarn off your fingers, and you're ready. Okay, so we want to single crochet 10 in this magic circle. I'm going to start off with the first one, and this is where I put a stitch marker, simply because it can be hard to find that first stitch sometimes. Just easier. Okay, so we've done one. We need to do a total of 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? So you can see all along here you've got your stitches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. See, and then you know for sure which is your first stitch and not your first slip stitch that you did. Sometimes it can kind of mimic the first stitch a little bit. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You've loosened your loop quite a bit so that you can not lose your stitch. Okay, so you want to make sure that the yarn that's coming out right in front is actually sitting in front. You want to pull your tail out, pull that to the left, and then you're going to hold on to your work with your left hand and pull on that front string until it's snug, and then you're going to grab the tail and you're going to pull on that. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to pull, so okay, so there you are. It's a tightened circle. Put your loop back into, or your hook back into the loop, tighten it up and pull your tail to the back. And what I do is then I pull my stitch marker off to the side. It loosens the stitch a little bit and opens it up so it's easier to go in. And at that point I can take the stitch marker out and I can slip stitch right into that stitch. And there we are. We are done with the first round. The second round is the points of the stars. This is a large star. I have another tutorial for this small star. It'll be bigger than this one. Okay. So we're going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright, so we want to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We never count the one on the hook itself, so that's the first one there, and this is the second one. Okay, so we single crochet in that one. We single crochet in the next hook, or the next stitch. In the next stitch we do half double crochet, and then in the next stitch it's another half double crochet. The next stitch is a double crochet, and the next stitch is another double crochet, and in the last two chains we'll be putting a treble or a triple crochet in each of those. So if you're not familiar with that stitch, it's just like a double, except you wrap around twice before you go in, and then you still continue to pull through, only two at a time, so it takes you one extra stitch to do. Okay, the last one is a triple. Okay, so then we're going to go back to our main circle here. We're going to skip the next stitch and slip stitch in the one after that. Okay, so that's what the first star point looks like. Alright, I'll give you one more example here before I let you do it on your own. 9 chains, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then another single crochet, and then a half double crochet, and then another half double crochet, and then a double crochet, and then another double crochet, and then the last two are triple crochets. They are going to want to curl up on you, so just know that that's normal. And then we go back to the original circle, we skip the next stitch, and we slip stitch into the one after that. Okay, so there's 2 points to the star. So it's going to be more of a larger star just in regards to its points. What you can also do is you can curl the ends to kind of go one way. I think it'll do it a little bit more when they're all done. And it's more of a kind of artistic star. But for now, we'll just continue doing the points. So you can continue to do the points. It's a 5-pointed star. So you can continue to do 3 more, and I'll meet you at the end of that point. Okay, so I'm at the last point. Finished the last point of the star. And now we are going to do the same as before. We're going to skip the next stitch on the main circle. We're going to go into the next one, which is quite a tight stitch. And you slip stitch through there. Okay, alright, so then you can cut your yarn and you just pull it through one more time to create the knot. Pull it, you can sew that end in, and in the back you want to cut your yarn there. I work in my tail when I'm going around that the first 10 single crochets here. So I can just cut it off there. If you didn't do that, then you'll want to sew in your ends before you cut the tail off there. Okay, and then you can sew in this end as well, but for now you can kind of see that it's a larger star. Kind of takes a little bit of shaping. Here. And like the smaller star, you can accentuate these holes here for more of that kind of a look, or you can pull them back and kind of make it a little bit more of a solid look. There'll always be a little bit of a gap there. Another thing you can do in the shaping is to give it a little bit of a turn on each of the the ends. And it's got just a little bit more of an artistic star look as well. Those are all things you can do either while blocking or just as you're sewing it on as an applique. For me, these are appliques for the blanket, for the Counting Sheep Shell Stitch Baby Blanket. There'll be the stars in the sky. There's also the blanket, there's the sheep, there's the number tutorials 0 through 9, and there's also me putting the fence on that the sheep are jumping over. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it works well for you. And it would be great if you could like this video, and it would be even more great if you could subscribe to my channel for all my other videos. Thanks so much.